Continuing on, we have here red bananas. They were for Diddy in Donkey Kong 64. In Donkey Kong 64, each Kong had different colored bananas that you had to collect in order to give to these characters Cough and Scoff, which was a pig and a hippo. And if you gave them enough bananas, they would open a door for you and you could fight a secret boss. This is the blue bananas. This is the ice blocks from Super Mario Bros. 3, where Mario picks them up and hurls them at ice enemies. This is the Bowser Bomb. This was from Mario Party. This item was used to summon Bowser to the board. And once Bowser showed up, he would take either a star from players or their coins. We have a Bullet Bill. This is features. Bullet Bill, of course, was in the original Super Mario Bros. Game. Constant threat to Mario. This here is the mystery bag. This was in Paper Mario for the N64. You would buy the mystery bag and it would have different results. Nobody could really tell exactly what it would do. That's why it was called the mystery bag. But I think it was 2 coins and it would give you all different abilities. This is a star piece. Star pieces were in the Paper Mario series. This is a spiny egg. Lakitu throws them and he turns into a spiny. Their first appearance, of course, was in the original Super Mario Bros., but this particular version I made happens to be based off of the Super Mario World look. This is their Spiny. This is the version from Super Mario Bros. 3. He's a little bit different than the other version that I showed you guys, but still pretty accurate. So that's what he looks like. This is a blooper. Bloopers, of course, appeared in the original Super Mario Brothers. The squids that can attack underwater and apparently on land. On land, they just kind of float by. I don't know why Shigeru Miyamoto thought of the idea of floating squids. That's pretty unique. But this particular one is from Super Mario Bros. 3. And he had a specific name. At least the mother one did. She had little baby squids following her. Here we have the original Toad. I remember I showed you guys earlier the green Toad that I made for whatever reason. But this is what the original Toad looks like. I think he was supposed to be a trophy originally, but I didn't make him a trophy. I don't know, maybe he's okay enough to be a trophy. Let me know. Here's one of the nipper plants. Miyamoto made a couple different versions of nippers. They're basically just mobile piranha plants as near as I can tell. This is the Star Rod from Kirby. It's appeared in Kirby's Dream Land, all the Kirby games. It's an item in the Smash Brothers series. For those of you who've never played a Kirby game, if you played Smash Brothers, you know what the Star Rod is. Capable of shooting 16 blasts of magic or a couple charge shots, depending on what you do. This is a Bob-omb. This Bob-omb happens to be the Mario Brothers 2 version of Bob-omb. If you'll notice, it's blue and red in coloration. Okay, here's the Bob-omb buddy. These guys were Mario 64. They help you open up cannons to be blasted out of, to blast you to areas that you otherwise couldn't get to. They were in a war with the black Bob-ombs who attacked them. They're peaceful little Bob-ombs that refuse to serve Bowser. And they've been in the Mario Party series as well, having different functions. This is the Star Block. This appeared in Super Mario World. It was in level 3. You hit it in the center, and if you had 99 coins, it would give you an extra life. Otherwise, it would add a coin to your total. Okay, this is the Vanishing Gel from Paper Mario. Mario would rub it on himself and he would disappear. It had the same effect as Bow's ability and be invisible. This is a chainsaw from Super Mario World. There was a level where you're on a log that follows a dotted line and the chainsaw comes by and tries to slice you up. It's also in Castle Fortresses, and it always follows a specific pattern. If the dotted line ends, it falls off the track and disappears. This here is one of the blades from the Fortresses. It follows like a little dotted line path on its way to chop up Mario, but it's not really an enemy, it's more of a fortress trap. This is the P balloon from Super Mario World, and if you grab it, it allows Mario to turn into a big balloon and float around for like 15 seconds or something. Then he runs out of balloon ability and plummets to his death. This is a Cheep Cheep from Super Mario World. These are his underwater goggles. It's said in a Nintendo Power that Cheep Cheeps insist that underwater goggles improve their vision. This is their apple pie that you make in Paper Mario when you talk to the chef Tasty. This is the Ladybug from Super Mario Bros. 2. Many of you will recall of her scurrying up the vine and you had to yank her off and throw her at an enemy before you could progress. This here is the poison mushroom that first appeared in Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. This particular version is known by many gamers as the Game Over mushroom. This is actually based off of the art style of it rather than what it looks like in the game. In the actual game it was like blue and black, something like that. But in the art style it was made purple and white with the fleshy bottom. If you look real close you see like a unibrow on it. Looks kind of evil. It also has a skull head in the center, making it more imposing and intimidating. It was known as the Game Over mushroom because most people that got it when they were small, it would instantly kill them. So it's basically like a death shroom. But in fact, it actually would shrink you if you were big. And later, Nintendo, when they put it in future incarnations, like in the Smash Bros. Series, for example, they made it look very identical to a super mushroom, except its function is to shrink you. It's much like the mini mushroom from the new Super Mario Brothers games. So I suppose it's changing its role over the years. Here's the poison mushroom, but this is the poison mushroom version from the Smash Brothers series. If it touches you, you shrink in size. It doesn't kill you, but it can lead to your death because a good player will just smash you and take you out. Alright, this is Swooper. He's a bat-like creature, but this is from Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Not to be confused with the green swoopers from Super Mario World. Miyamoto had a lot of enemies with the same name, but they were different. Here we have Mr. Saturn. His first appearance is in the Earthbound series, but he's also an item that you can pick up and hurl at your enemy in the Smash Brothers series, which the first appearance would have been in Melee. So depending on whether you're an Earthbound fan or a Melee fan, those are the two games you can see his first appearances in. You can read about him as a trophy in Melee too, if you want. This is the proximity landmine from Smash Brothers Melee. It's a detonator bomb. You just plant it on the ground and blow up your opponent. Here we have a warp star from the Kirby series. All I did was take a star cookie cutter and just make a star out of it with my Wiggler. This is the Urchin from the underwater levels. If any of you out there have played some of the underwater levels with Urchin chasing after you, then you know what a pain he can be. This is a Fire Chomp. He makes his appearance in Super Mario Bros. 3, World 5, Sky World. In the one level, you're jumping around on platforms, and he follows you around, and he spits fire at you. And if you bop him on the head, one hit, and he's gone. But he's actually a flying chomp, capable of spitting fire, and the little trail behind him that I was trying to show off there is his tail. We have here a mummified version of a Buzzy Beetle. It appears in Super Mario World and the Castle Fortresses. If you try to jump on its head, it emits spikes from its back that stick you. Your best bet is to jump over it. I think fire might take him out, but if not, then you probably just want to jump over him, because if you jump on him, he will emit spikes and try to take you down. This is Mr. Warp. There's 4 different versions of this one. Number 1 is pink. There's a number 2, a 3, and a 4. One's blue and yellow and whatnot. But his name's Mr. Warp. He appears in Yoshi's Story, and he just warps you from one place to the next. Has no other significance really other than that. This little bug guy here appeared in Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. You could eat him and then spit him out into like a little ball and use him to attack enemies, but he didn't really like harm you or nothing. This is another Toad, but this Toad is part of the system settings in the original Mario Party, the very first Mario Party game for the N64. When you wanted to play mini games, this Toad was your host. He was a mini Toad. I'm assuming he's supposed to be a child Toad that shows you around to all the different mini games and teaches you about the game and has many other useful things like that. Now this little fella here that looks like a Goomba is actually called a Gloomba. Now this is a Hyper Gloomba. Yes, quite an obscure name, but he appeared in Paper Mario for the N64. You will encounter him, I believe, near a castle fortress, if I'm not mistaken. Some of them have spiked helmets, which I did make a spiked helmet for. Oh, here's the hat to the Hyper Gloomba that I was telling you guys about. This is a fruit from Paper Mario. It's known as dry fruit because it comes from dry desert. You'll learn more about it if you play the game. This here is known as the fake star. This is in the Mario Party series. In Mario Party, you go around and you collect coins and you have to buy power stars from Toad. And that's how you beat the game. Well, on the one board with Bowser, he gives you something called the fake star, which it looks exactly like this. So it's a power star given to you by Bowser, which is completely worthless. Yet he forces you to take it, and he takes all your money, because it's kind of a tool like that. We have here the Ultra Shroom. This restores 50% of your health. This here is a Spiny from Super Mario World, another version. It's got the little spike top. Basically, these are like Buzzy Beetles. They're more in the Buzzy Beetle family, but they have the spike on their back, like a Spiny. So perhaps maybe a Buzzy Beetle and a Spiny made it to create this new breed of Spiny. That is just a guess on my part. Sometimes I like to try and figure out the origins of certain enemies, where they come from. It's not really important. It's kind of a hobby of mine. Like I did that whole evolutionary thing with Yoshi and Bowser. Anyway, this is a Cobrat. He's from Super Mario Brothers 2. He lives inside of a clay pot that actually you can explore, but first you have to jump on his head and rip him out of the pot. You can hurl his body at your enemies after that and then just go down and explore it. This is Nibla from Donkey Kong Country 3. There was a level with Nibla where he chases you throughout the entire level. He starts off as a little small baby piranha, but he keeps growing bigger and bigger till finally he reaches this size. And when he reaches this size, he, obviously he chomps away at you. And then, of course, if he hits you, then he shrinks small again, and then it starts all over again. But his first appearance was actually in Donkey Kong Country 2, in the underwater stages. I believe he was in Lockjaw's Cavern. This is the Maximum Tomato. If you're not familiar with it from the Kirby series, you'd be familiar with it from the Smash Brothers series. Restores half your health. In Kirby, it restores all of your health. These are the random berries found in Super Mario World. The pink one gives you this weird looking thing in a cloud. It's like it makes this little cloud appear with a smiley face and it hurls coins at you. The green one gives you more time on your clock so that you have more time to defeat the mission. And the red one just counts as like eating an enemy or collecting a coin. If you eat 100 red ones, you get an extra life. Okay, this is a Shy Guy. He appears in Yoshi's Story. And the only thing I know that he does that's important is he resurrects Yoshis. If you're going through a level in Yoshi's Story and you lose and you get knocked out and you see the Toadies taking Yoshi back to Bowser's castle, this white Shy Guy will go to the castle and retrieve them. This is a watermelon from Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. In that game, watermelons gave Yoshi different abilities. If you get a green one, Yoshi would spit the seeds at you like a machine gun. If you got a red one, Yoshi would have hot breath and blow like a flamethrower. And if you got a blue one, Yoshi would have ice breath and would be able to freeze things. This is the anchor from Super Mario Bros. 3. It's an item that you can collect. I believe the anchor was used to stop the Doom ship from flying away. So if you were in a world and you went to go on the Doom ship, and for whatever reason you actually died on the Doom ship, instead of the Doom ship flying to a different spot on the map and having you have to navigate the map to get to it, it would just stay in one place. Here's Buzzy Beetle, Super Mario World version, of course. Super Mario World isn't Buzzy Beetle's first appearance. If you'll remember, Buzzy Beetle actually appeared in the original Super Mario Brothers, but he was black and white. Here he is blue and white.